Hi guys, welcome back to London's 11. I'm sorry that I haven't been posting anything on my channel recently, but any of you that follow me on my Instagram will know I've been really busy. I'm here today with Magdalena, who you might recognise from my Bonjour Beige balayage tutorial last spring. Today we're going to be doing a summer refresh, which is great for all of your clients who have existing colour, be it balayage or highlights, to get Magdalena ready for the summer. So at this time of year, we get a lot of clients coming into the salon who have existing hair colour, but want to turn the volume up for the summer months. I'm going to be doing a few things on Magda today. The first one will be using foils to concentrate on the face frame around the front of her hairline. And then I'm going to work with some balayage through her existing colour, just to lift it up very slightly to give you that sun-kissed beachy summer look. So I'm going to start off on Magda's hairline here with some really fine baby light foils. I've got Redken Flashlift and 20 volume in my bowl, and I've added 1 ml of Olaplex No1 to that. And as I've mentioned already, this technique is all about updating Magda's look and bringing it through into the new season. So I'm working back from the face, and these first couple of foils are going to be a really fine weave. I don't like anything that I do with foils to be too uniform. I think that way you get a much more natural result. And especially with a result like this, where we want it to look sun-kissed, we want to keep it looking more organic and not too regimented. I like to use shorter foils when I'm working on finer sections of hair, because I find to use a foil that's too long in length can actually pull the section away from the root. And it's really important when you're doing a face frame that it's really close to the root. So I would much rather use a shorter foil and wrap the hair up into the foil. And when I'm going to be doing multiple techniques on one head of hair, so foils and then balayage, I always seal the foil on both sides to make sure that it's secure and it's not going to move. So I've worked back from Magda's face with 5 foils through here, leaving very minimal hair out through the front. And now I'm working on the diagonal into the back of her hairline. This gives you a very organic finish. And obviously, when you're refreshing colour, especially for the summer when Magda's going to be wearing her hair back a lot, you want to make sure that the underneath continues through from that front hairline. So onto the parting section. And here to begin with, at the very front, I'm taking really fine sections. This is going to be the main part of the face frame, and obviously the bit that gives you the most sun-kissed results. So we want to start off with a really fine foil here. And it's not really a woven foil, it's more of a ribbon-like foil. So I've just got a couple of strands there and just left out some really fine baby hairs. You want to keep this super tight at the hairline and not apply too much lightener. and just seal that up. And I'm going to really seal that up really tight there, just to make sure it's really secure. Onto my next section, which is again a really fine mesh of hair. And I'm going to take quite a bold woven piece and just leave out just a tiny little piece of hair in between. I'm using slightly shorter foils for this because, like I said before, I find that they stay closer to the root. So that's this side of Magdalena's hair finished, and I put 5 foils in through the front of the part line, and I work until I meet up with the 5 foils that I put in from the front of our hairline that I began with. So we've got 5, 5 and 5. Now I'm going to repeat that on the other side of her head. So that's Magda's face frame and hairline refresh foils in. I've used 2 different lengths of foils to do this. I've used a shorter one for the fine baby hairs at the hairline, at the very front of the hairline, and then a slightly longer one as I've moved back. I don't have any folds down the center of my foils or folds on the edge, but that's just my own preference. You have and use whatever it is you like. You prep your foils in your own way. Now it's time to do some balayage. So I've got Redken Freehand here in my bowl with 20 volume, and I've added 1 ml of Olaplex No1 to that, and it's a creamy consistency, like cream cheese that's been left out of the refrigerator for a little while. So I've taken a deep V section at the back here. I've got my foils on either side, and I'm going to refresh the ends of Magdalena's balayage. So holding some tension on the hair and just working with my free hand, just blending it slightly into her natural hair. Making sure to apply quite a lot of product here, just to get saturation through the section, and then down onto some cling film. I'm then going to cover that with another piece of film, just to keep everything clean and tidy. And then work through onto my next section. The whole point of this technique is to refresh an existing color and to bring a really nice summery face frame with the result. So you want to keep this top section really blended, so the grow out, yeah, it's almost creating a very slight root drag, kind of sombre effect. And it just makes sure that there's not going to be any grow out for the client. So that's the balayage applied. And whilst that processes, there's just a couple of things I'd like to go over with you. The first one is why I choose to use cling film. There are two reasons that I use cling film. And the first one of those is to separate the wefts of hair as I'm working. This keeps everything really clean. And the second one is that it does conduct the heat very slightly, so it means that the product will lift slightly more. Modern balayage products dry on the outside and stay moist on the inside, which is great. But I find using cling film, it just gives you that extra little bit of lift. Secondly, I don't wear gloves when I'm doing balayage, which is a little bit controversial. But what I do is wipe any excess product immediately that I've finished applying it off my hands. The reason that I don't wear gloves is I find it very hard to work with the hair and to feel the hair when I've got a layer of latex between me and the hair. I'm not saying that you should follow what I do. You should always follow manufacturer's instructions, but that's why today I wasn't wearing gloves. The maximum processing time for both of the products that I'm using today on Magda's hair is 50 minutes. But I'm going to keep an eye on her hair when it's lifted to the desired level, get that rinsed off, and then rough dry. So after 40 minutes of processing, we rinsed and rough dried Magda's hair. And now it's time to tone. I'm going to use Redken Shades EQ to do that with. It's a product I've been using for 20 years now in the salon. And I'm going to use a technique called zone toning. It's like a very soft shadow root. My aesthetic is for very soft, translucent results. So I've got two different formulas here. The first one is 9N Cafe au lait, mainly that with just a little bit of 9G vanilla cream. And then I've got, for the mid-lengths and ends, I've got just 9N with clear, and that's half and half, 1-to-1. So let's get applying. So first of all, I'm going to apply my 9N and 9G formula. And I'm just going to take it right the way around the hairline, at the front, and also around the back hairline where the highlights, where the foils were. And I'm going to apply the Shades EQ to all of Magda's hair because it makes the hair so glossy and so shiny, so light reflective, that you could just tone the bits that you've highlighted, but that doesn't really seem to make sense if we all want shiny hair. And also with the Olaplex No1 in this formula, that just ensures that everything gets a really great treatment at the same time. So now I'm going through and applying my mid-length and end formula, which is the 9N and clear 1-to-1. And I'm going to work back to front. So I'm going to do all of the mid-lengths and ends through the back, and then I'm going to finish with the very hairline area. Obviously we want the face frame area to be the lightest, so it makes sense to apply the product onto the hairline at the very last, the mid-lengths and ends of the hairline very last. So after 20 minutes of processing, we rinsed the Shades EQ from Magda's hair and followed up with Olaplex No2. We're loving Magda's soft summer blonde. Thanks for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, then give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at Craig's World of Hair for more formulas, tips and techniques. Have a fantastic summer and I'll see you again soon.